The beauty of the Startup Gathering Week is it's got a very broad appeal. So we have events happening from the research centres, we have events happening from the enterprise support agencies, the investors, the multinationals are putting on events, large corporates are putting on events, and then there's a whole range of events being put on by the service providers, be it the lawyers and the accountants in terms of mentoring sessions, in terms of advice clinics. So you actually have a huge range of events under various headings. So there's something for everyone who's considering either starting a startup or somebody who wants to help work with an exciting startup.
The Startup Gathering, from a timing point of view, is really important right now. I mean, Ireland, the economy is on the way back. We need as many people to think about starting businesses as we can. It's well known that most people in the country work for businesses that employ less than 10 people. So by definition, the more people we can get starting small businesses, the more employment we'll generate locally through those businesses. And of course, startups are really important for local communities. So the time is right and the time is now.
We need the Startup Gathering because the ecosystem needs this centre point for the network to come together, to connect, to be able to start, scale and succeed. There's never been an easier time to start a company, but there's never been a harder time to build a company, and Startup Gathering gives people the opportunity to learn how to do that well and from Ireland.
Now is the time to start, scale and succeed from Ireland. The Startup Gathering provides over 360 events happening in 22 counties across the country. So if you're thinking about starting up, or if you're an entrepreneur who has started up, there are dozens of events for you to choose from to help you start and scale.
When we first started this, we thought we'd only have 30 to 50 events. We now have over 360. We have top quality speakers coming from abroad, from Ireland, and all the events are free.
There's a conference going to happen each morning in each city to really kick off the day's activity. And as we know, there's over 360 events happening, which is really a fantastic number. But I think those conferences are going to be really good. I think there's some excellent international speakers coming in. I think the format in trying to figure out how do we make each city as good as we can make it from the point of view of being a hub to start a new business. That's an outcome from those conferences that I'm really looking forward to seeing happening. And from Bank of Ireland's perspective, we're absolutely delighted to be involved and to be at each of those conferences.
Working with Bank of Ireland has been fantastic. They have a whole team dedicated to supporting the Startup Gathering, and they are working constantly night and day, the same hours as we're doing, and we get great support from them. It's been good fun.
Well, I think Bank of Ireland recognises obviously the changing face of startups. There's a traditional view about what banking is, that we lend money out, we take in deposits. Of course we still do that, but if you're trying to work with a startup ecosystem, you've got to do more. We're here in our new space in Grand Canal Square, which is a physical embodiment of the way the bank is changing its view of how it works into the startup market. We say to startups who want to come in and use this space free of charge, come in and use it. We have a workbench here, you can work from there. We have lots of things that we're doing within our communities, and don't forget we have a branch in practically every community across the country, where we're trying to outreach to those communities, and we're trying to leverage on behalf of small business the strength that we have as a major organisation to support them as they try to develop their business. Through the other initiatives that we have, like our Enterprise Town, our National Enterprise Week, our various sponsorships, and of course our significant involvement in the Startup Gathering. So the message from Bank of Ireland is we want to support you as a startup, and we want to work with you, not just in the traditional way of providing credit, but in some of the other ways I just mentioned there as well.
The agility, the ambition and the focus of startups combined with the resources, the scale and the power of Bank of Ireland means that when the two combine, something really great can happen. Our role with Startup Gathering demonstrates that. We're putting 360 events together along with our own programme, which demonstrates the talent, the vibrancy and the commitment of startups in our country to really creating a hub that will rival any others.
Startup Ireland was largely built on Twitter, and the follower numbers since last November have absolutely exploded. We have hundreds of new followers every day, and we keep everyone up to date via the Twitter handle @StartupIreland. So if you want to keep up to date with any startup gathering related news or any startup related news in Ireland, follow us on Twitter.
We're actually overwhelmed with the response that we've received from everyone, through the support, through the events and the amount of the events and the amount of people who want to get involved. And the closer we are to the time, the more people want to get involved.
We have a fantastic new Startup Gathering website, startupgathering.ie, which lists all the details of the Startup Gathering and the events. Or even better, we have a free app which is available now to download in the iOS App Store and Android.
We have volunteers in each city, our city coordinators, who have dedicated a lot of their spare time to help coordinate the Startup Gathering within their regions, promoting each city. And we also have national steering group, which is broken down into the regional steering groups in each city as well. So there's a huge amount of people involved in the project, all on a volunteer basis.
I think the forum that will open each day is the really exciting opportunity, because it brings together the city's key decision makers. If each city is going to become a global startup hub, we need to create alignment amongst the research centres, amongst the investors, amongst the enterprise support agencies, the service providers, to really create a tight nexus that can help align behind the startups. Then we also need the large corporates to come in and help support that community. So that's what the forum each morning in each city will start with. We will hear from international experts from Startup Commons on what underpins international startup ecosystems, how we can start making the tangible steps towards that in each of our cities. Because if Ireland is to compete internationally, as increasingly countries are, on the basis of our startup hubs and access to the innovation and jobs that startups create, we need all our cities unifying together behind this mission. We need each city really building on its own strengths.
So the groundwork is all done. All the city coordinators are on site, ready to go. The stage is going to look fantastic, and this is going to be an amazing event.